Hey, what's up, everybody? Doing a little bit different format today. I want to dive a little bit deeper into a topic that I've been hearing a lot about, and I think there's some misunderstanding. And I want to help clear up confusion or at least give you a different perspective, right? So I've heard a lot of people make claims that methodologies like Bant and Meddic are no longer effective. I'm not going to say that those folks are wrong, but I'm going to challenge the context and the meaning of what they consider effective, right? And so I'm just going to break down each area. I'm going to focus on BANT today because I think that's the oldie but goodie, right? It's been around the longest, and folks are most familiar with BANT. So I'm just going to break that down and show you how each area of BANT is interrelated. And again, hopefully, this will give you some new perspective and a way to apply this a little bit differently. Okay. So I want to start with what's on the screen right now. Like BANT is not a broken or antiquated sales qualification methodology. It fails because of improper application of it. Okay. Um, so let's kind of dive into the B of BANT. Get this thing moving here. Okay. Budget, right? We all know you can't control budget. That was a joke. Like you actually can influence budget. First thing we need to understand is like budget is merely a predetermined allocation of capital based on an estimated need. That's the Ryan Johns definition, right? The Oxford Dictionary definition is this. Budget is, of course, a noun. It's an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. The key word I want to point out is estimate, right? The word estimate implies that it is not definitive, it is not set in stone, and it can change. It's actually just an educated guess, right? This is an educated um, business guess, right? It does have the potential to change based on the business's understanding of their need, right? It's an estimate based on what they understand currently, right? What lens are they looking through? That's where budgets are set based on that, okay? Give you a personal example. Like I have personally persuaded customers to increase their budget by 2 and 3x by doing this. I analyze their infrastructure, analyze their business process, and all of the resource costs associated with each one. Now, you have to be able to do that. If you want to sway a customer's perception and increase that estimate, you have to be able to understand the business and the impact metrics within that business. Okay, that's very, very critical to understand, right? You can't be merely like conceptual and anecdotal. Like that's not going to work. It's too subjective and ambiguous, right? You have to use real, live, quantifiable customer data, right? And so that's what I'm going to talk more about in the needs section um, of this acronym. Okay. So next, let's look at authority. The A for authority. Now, this is not a joke. You can't control authority, but you can understand how to leverage it more effectively. Okay. So what I mean by that in the modern era, you got to think there may be a signing authority, let's say a single signing or approval authority within a company. I get that, true. But the thing you need to understand, there are definitely other people that influence your deal outcomes that you'll probably never meet. So what do you do about that? Because they have a voice, right? Sometimes instead of asking like who's involved in the decision making process, like we hear that all the time. It's not the right question, right? What you need to find out is who and how the solution or service you may be selling as a seller impacts those individuals. It's not about who's involved in the decision process. It's how does my tool or solution or whatever it is, how does it impact the people across the organization? Like who and how does it impact those folks, right? 9 out of 10 times, these people will have a voice in the ultimate decision. Decisions are made by committee, not one person. Whether you think it's one person or not, it is not one person. That leader, that senior leader, that division leader, whatever, is going to poll the people within the organization or team or business unit and find out, is this solution we're looking at, is it worth it? Is this something you need? Blah, blah, blah. Like they're going to go through their own internal vetting and qualification process. Just like you're qualifying them, they're going to qualify you as well. And it's not going to be there's just too much at stake right now. Like they're just you can't. Businesses are a lot of them are very risk averse when it comes to making certain decisions. So they are going to ask those other individuals within that company that are impacted by that solution. So find out that first. Like don't worry about who's involved in the decision process. Find out who's involved in the impact workflow impact process. Okay. All right. So next, need. Need is probably the most important and nuanced of all of these, and this is where we mess up. This is where we mess up. We don't take the time to understand the need. You most certainly can influence need if you understand a discipline called customer value mapping. Okay, customer value mapping. That's something that I'll dive deeper into that process in another video. But the reason customer value mapping is important, look at the second word, value. Value is subjective a lot of times. Value is relative to who you're talking to. So you must do a really good job of surfacing what value is to everyone that's going to be impacted or whoever your audience is, right? Whatever that persona is, you better understand what value is to them. What I mean by that is what outcome are they trying to achieve? You start with the outcome first, and then you reverse engineer the process to get to that outcome. And you have to understand what their current state of business is, right? How are they doing it today? You can't solve something in the future that you don't understand today. And so that's where we're messing it up. The need in Bant is being screwed up because we lack discipline to that process. It's not about talent. It's not about skill. It's you have to have a certain level of discipline and a willingness to engage in a dialogue. A lot of salespeople get caught up in the monologue. They just want to spray and pray, tell about their solution, tell about the fee, like all the wonderful things it can do conceptually. But do you understand how it will affect that organization, that individual, that business unit? Do you understand that? Have you mapped your value to what that customer needs? And that's what we are not doing. We lack discipline in that area. And so last, we're going to look at timing. Okay. You can influence timing as well if you first analyze and quantify the need. So it goes back to the need. That's why I say this is all interdependent. If you understand the need, if you can put a value to the need or needs, right, or values, right, then you can definitely not control, but you can influence time. You can influence pace. You can influence the outcome, right? Once you quantify the need properly and those metrics prove to be compelling, your offer will oftentimes move further up your customers' priority ranking, right? Because every decision they're making, it's all prioritized, right? We just don't know where we fall, or maybe we think we do, but oftentimes we don't, right? But if you do a really good job on the needs and customer value mapping piece, you can actually move yourself up or your product or your solution up that value chain. Okay, so keep that in mind. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Let me know what you guys feel about these methods and what are you doing nowadays? Like, what are you doing nowadays to sell better, to qualify better? I'd love to hear your feedback, and hopefully, again, like I said, this maybe shifts your perspective on how Bant is applied. Um, it's not cookie cutter, and it's not, sometimes people oversimplify it. Okay, but anyway, follow our Sales Leverage business page on LinkedIn or our new YouTube channel. That's where all of our podcasts are going to live. Follow that for the freshest content and insights. Hope you guys found this valuable. Love to hear from you. Tell me what you're doing nowadays to qualify and sell better. Talk soon.